Now there's a soft drink from the Coca-Cola Company that makes it...
Make a chocolate drink, you have to think about its kale.
For beautiful people.
The 1960s, an era of bold innovation, psychedelic patterns, and moonshot dreams. It was a time when anything seemed possible, and beverage companies were no exception. From every iconic drink that defined the decade to dozens that fizzled out, crashed, and burned, these are the drinks that missed the mark, the flavors that became fossils, and the spectacular flops that are now just a weird, syrupy stain on the pages of history. So, grab your favorite modern drink and join us as we count down 25 beverages from the 1960s that failed miserably. Patio Diet Cola was Pepsi's first try at a low-calorie soda in 1963. The idea looked smart, give people a lighter cola option. But Patio had a clunky name and odd marketing that did not click with shoppers. People did not link Patio to Pepsi the way they needed to. Sales were weak, and the product did not build a steady base. Pepsi learned fast and rebranded the idea as Diet Pepsi within about a year. That new name used the strong Pepsi label and a clear message, and it worked much better. Patio became a short, odd chapter in soda history. It is a lesson in timing. It shows how names matter. Tab was Coca-Cola's first Diet Cola, arriving in 1963. Fans liked its lighter taste and distinct style. For decades, Tab kept a steady group of buyers who enjoyed its unique flavor and look.
Tab Cola. For beautiful people. Tab Cola. You're beautiful to me. Real cola tastes just one.
But when Coca-Cola launched Diet Coke in 1982, that new drink drew away more shoppers and attention. Over time, Tab sold less and less. Coca-Cola decided to stop making Tab at the end of 2020. Many fans felt sad to lose a product they had known for years. Tab's story shows how a newer, stronger push can eclipse an older brand. Companies learn and move on. Coming up next, a spirit famous for flame and controversy, dangerously potent and memorable. Bacardi 151 was notorious, a white rum bottled at 151 proof, powerful enough to flare into a big, bright flame. Bartenders used it for flaming drinks and strong cocktails that needed a fierce kick. Its high alcohol level made it useful and risky.
Get the mask on. Whoa, it's already on. Nice.
It became known as a showpiece pour and also a hazard. Over the years, safety concerns and a string of incidents and lawsuits made distributors nervous. In 2016, Bacardi quietly stopped selling the bottle in many places, and its absence left both fans and bar pros debating what to use instead for their fire show routines. The next story shifts back to soda culture, a celebrity-branded can that promised big star power but delivered little shelf life. Big Wilt Soda tried to bottle a sports legend's charisma. Wilt Chamberlain's face and fame landed on special cans in the 1960s to grab attention from fans and soda lovers. The idea was clever. Pair a huge personality with a bold, flashy drink and let his name do the heavy lifting.
And now, can the Tartan Pimpernel save Scotland's most famous goalie? John Balmoral McBean!
But production runs were limited, and distribution remained small, so the novelty never translated into sustained sales. Over time, the beverage vanished from store shelves, yet those rare cans became prized by collectors and memorabilia hunters who value them as quirky pop culture artifacts. The short-lived experiment shows a clear lesson. Celebrity appeal can spark immediate interest and headlines without guaranteeing long-term customer loyalty or commercial success. Today, they resurface at auctions and nostalgia markets, occasionally fetching and in surprisingly high prices. Malt Duck tried to ride a wave of novelty in the 1960s by mixing malt, beer, and Concord grape juice into a sweet, boozy sip. It was a curious blend aimed at people who wanted something both fruity and grown-up.
This fruit beer is the Malt Duck. It comes from Specker Brewing in Milwaukee. They were started in 1985 by Randy Specker, and I think they were one of the first.
At first, the odd combo drew interest in selected markets, but tastes shifted. Drinkers who loved traditional beer found it too sweet, while wine and cocktail fans often dismissed it as confused. Sales thinned over time, and the trademark was not renewed after 1992, a quiet end for a wild idea. It's a reminder that not every mashup finds a home. Veep was Coca-Cola's lemon lime soda, launched in 1961. Coke wanted a drink to stand with other clear citrus sodas. Veep reached stores but did not win many fans. It had trouble standing out in taste and brand image against rivals.
A V for Veep,
The drink so light, Veep,
never spoils.
your appetite.
Fresh and fizzy,
Lemon light, Veep,
never spoils.
your appetite.
Around that time, other soda makers built stronger lemon-lime names that drew more buyers. Coca-Cola then shifted its focus to other products with better promise, like Sprite. By 1964, Veep was discontinued. The short life of Veep shows how big companies must pick which drinks to push. Gaeblinger's Extra Light Beer launched in 1966 as one of the first low-calorie beers. The brewer thought some buyers would want fewer calories but still enjoy beer. In the 1960s, most beer drinkers cared about flavor and tradition, not a diet label. Gaeblinger's did not sell enough and was pulled from stores within a few years. The recipe later changed hands and was used by others, but the Gaeblinger's name faded away. This attempt shows that not every health idea fits every market. Beer fans then wanted full flavor more than a lighter label. Buyers usually choose taste first. Meisterbrau Light arrived around 1967 to try a light beer wave after earlier low-calorie attempts. It used a similar light recipe and hoped health-minded drinkers would try it.
Call it good business, like this Meisterbrau. Sure, I can pick any beer now, but Meisterbrau tastes every bit as good as Budweiser, and it doesn't cost as much, so there's no contest.
Sadly, buyers still avoided light beer at that time. Sales stayed low, and the brewery faced money trouble. By 1972, the brewery went bankrupt, and Meisterbrau Light vanished as the company closed. The product did not fail from a bad ad alone. It failed when the business could not stay afloat. Small brands often vanish if sales drop. This is a clear lesson about timing and money. Kick arrived in 1965 with a promise: a citrus soda like a mule. Bold, loud, and built for people who wanted something different. Ads pushed a wild-sounding edge and aimed at young, nonconformist crowds who liked to stand out.
In the beginning, the volcano did join with the rabbit sheep, which gave rise to the nuclear warhead, that with the Ninja Warrior.
The taste tried to match the image, strong citrus with a sharp bite. But Kick ran into stiff rivals like Mountain Dew and struggled to get wide shelf space. Bigger brands had deeper pockets, wider reach, and better ad plans. So Kick never caught the national wave. It limped along until corporate reshuffles after an acquisition in the 2000s finally ended it. Up next, a lemon soda that billed itself as lively, but distribution woes dimmed its spark. Graf's Uptown Lemon Soda sold itself as the lively lemon drink, a bright, snappy soda that promised freshness in every sip.
So here it is, our super refreshing and very cooling fresh lime soda is ready to drink.
It found pockets of fans where regional bottlers pushed it hard, and people liked the crisp lemon bite. Still, standing out in citrus meant competing with giants that had national reach and massive ad budgets. Graf's had limited lanes to sell in, and that cramped growth. Gradual reformulations and ownership changes clouded its identity, and the drink slipped from wide sale into nostalgic memory. For collectors, it's a charming relic. For the market, it's a lesson about scale. Bubble Up had a long run from earlier decades, but hit trouble by the late 1960s. This lemon-lime soda once had steady fans, yet its maker faced rising costs and weak sales.
Bubble up, bubble up, bubble up, bubble up. Back packed with fun all the time.
In 1970, the company that owned Bubble Up filed for bankruptcy, and the drink was pulled from many shops. The soda itself had no big scandal. It simply suffered from the company's money problems and the changing market scene. Years later, other groups revived Bubble Up in limited runs, but the brand never regained its former popularity. Bubble Up's story shows how business trouble can stop a good product. Team was Pepsi's straight-up lemon-lime answer to the citrus craze, hitting supermarkets nationwide by 1960 and earning a loyal following for its crisp, thirst-quenching bite. Pepsi pushed the brand hard through the 1960s, and Team became a reliable shelf staple until strategy shifted.
Nous avons demandé à des Québécois de goûter à Team.
By 1984, the original US version had been phased out in many markets and replaced by fresher experiments like Slice. Its disappearance wasn't a single blunder so much as a corporate appetite for new flavors and labels. Brands evolve. Some survive on clever marketing. Others make way for the next idea. Beverly was a non-alcoholic aperitif soda Coca-Cola launched in Italy in 1969. It offered a sharp, bitter grapefruit flavor intended to wake the palate before a meal. For many drinkers, that bitterness was a bridge too far. Visitors described Beverly as a tongue-slapping surprise rather than a gentle pre-dinner sip.
You ready?
I'm never ready for this.
Beverly it is. Beverly
I'm cringing. Just the smell of it.
The drink carved out only a niche. Most consumers preferred milder, sweeter options. Coca-Cola kept Beverly on the market for decades, but finally cut it in 2009 during a broader product pruning. Today, Beverly survives mostly in odd taste tests, travel stories, and the memories of those who tried it. Its short run is a reminder that innovation alone isn't enough. A product must meet people's tastes to stick around. Collectors and curious travelers still seek it out as a novelty. K.O. mixed cola with subtle chocolate notes and showed up as a playful novelty in local markets in the 1960s. For a while, it gathered a small but devoted fan base who loved the unusual pairing of familiar cola and cocoa hints. Novelty sodas can spark excitement and headlines, but tastes shift and fads fade. K.O. never built the steady sales that keep bottling lines humming. By the 1980s, it had mostly vanished from store shelves. There was no scandal. It simply stopped selling enough to justify production. K.O.'s quiet exit illustrates a common business truth. Creativity matters, but so do repeat purchases. Quirky flavors can win attention, yet only those that fit long-term habits survive. Today, K.O. is remembered as a curious experiment in soda history, still attracting collectors. Simba was Coca-Cola's late 1960s bid to capture a loud, youthful market with a citrus kick. Launched in 1969, it aimed to take on Mountain Dew and other high-energy sodas.
Cure, a drink that'll never quit until it's whipped. The African thirst.
Coke pushed Simba with flashy ads and targeted campaigns, but the marketing misfired in ways that hurt more than helped. Some of the ads and pitches were seen as tone-deaf and lit a backlash among groups who felt misrepresented. Sales did not climb as hoped, and the soda never built the needed national base. By 1972, Coca-Cola pulled Simba from shelves. Its short run serves as a clear example of how misread marketing and poor rollout can sink even a big-name product, leaving little but old commercials and curious stories. Collectors and ad historians sometimes cite Simba as a cautionary tale. Watney's Red Barrel was one of Britain's big keg bitters in the 1960s. It poured bright, bitter, and fizzy from many pub taps, and people saw it as a marker of modern, mass-produced beer. Back then, keg ales promised consistency and quick service, but tastes shifted. As drinkers moved toward newer lagers and craft styles, Red Barrel lost its edge. The brand also suffered from changing pub culture and consolidation in the brewing world. Over time, it slipped off menus and into memory. Today, Red Barrel lives mostly in pictures, old bottle collections, and stories from older drinkers who recall the sharp metallic fizz and busy pub counters where it once ruled the tap. Younger's Tartan Special was a familiar name in mid-century Britain, a malty, easy-drinking beer that fit well in pubs and at home. Branded with a tartan motif, it leaned on Scottish roots to sell a warm, honest pint. Like many regional brews, Tartan faced pressure as big national makers grew and supermarkets pushed standardized bottles.
Younger's Tartan Special Ale comes in cans. So take that tartan.
Changing sheds, brewery mergers, and new marketing left little room for some local labels. Eventually, Younger's Tartan evaporated from the shelves and taps. For many, it remains a nostalgic flavor from family gatherings and old pubs. Collectors and beer historians remember the label and the taste as a small piece of Britain's rich brewing past. Goes was a salty, sour wheat beer that once thrived in parts of Germany. But by the mid-1960s, its popularity had collapsed so completely that the last traditional Ghost brewery reportedly shut its doors in 1966. Its tangy mix of fruit, salt, and spice made it easy for shifting palates to abandon, leaving the style nearly extinct. Still, Ghost never fully disappeared.
The hatch, and the best of luck. London University students beating the clock in a pint-swallowing contest. They're finalists from scores of heats drunk during the last few weeks.
Lingering in memory until curious brewers revived it decades later. Once dismissed as a forgotten oddity, it eventually re-emerged as a trendy favorite among modern craft beer drinkers. Launched in East Germany in 1958, Vita Cola quickly became the state's answer to Coca-Cola and Pepsi. By the 1960s, it was at its peak, outselling other soft drinks in the region and even earning the nickname the national drink of the GDR. Its secret weapon? A tangy twist of lemon and added vitamin C, which gave it a more citrusy, less sweet taste than its Western rivals. But its success didn't last forever. After the Berlin Wall came down, Western brands flooded the market with flashy advertising and global prestige, while Vita Cola suddenly looked old-fashioned and out of place. Sales plummeted, and for a time, it all but disappeared. Though it's made a nostalgic comeback in parts of Germany today, Vita Cola's story shows how a drink that once defined an era in the 1960s struggled to survive once the world around it changed. Hoffman sodas were part of a rich patchwork of regional soda makers that offered unique flavors people loved. Each town had its own twist: funky fruit flavors, ginger pops, or creamy mixtures you couldn't find elsewhere.
It's confident again. I like a confident beverage. Oh, not a big fizz.
But as the soft drink market grew more national, many small makers like Hoffman lost shelf space and factories. Big companies with bigger ad budgets and wider distribution squeezed them out. Today, Hoffman names show up mostly in flea markets, old crates, and stories about special local tastes. Barq's is best known for its sharp, sassy root beer, but the brand once made a grape soda too. In the 1960s and 1970s, the Sweet Purple Fizz was a hit with kids and soda shop crowds. As product lines tightened and companies focused on core sellers, Barq's Grape Fizz vanished from regular production. Today, it survives only in the memories of people who recall sticky fingers and purple-stained lips after a bottle.
The one with bite! What do you mean Bart has bite? Johnny? What do you mean Bart has bite?
The end of flavors like this shows how brands streamline to stay profitable. Keep the best sellers, cut the rest. For fans, a vintage grape bottle is a small, bittersweet time capsule of simpler soda days. Alpine Pop was a fizzy, sugary soda made in Sunderland and sold in a rainbow of flavors, like pineapple and more. It fit a moment when local pop makers served towns with bright, affordable drinks kids loved. Alpine Pop's colorful bottles and bold names were perfect for seaside trips and corner shops. But as big soft drink firms expanded and supermarkets pushed national labels,
more flavorful than I thought. It's actually much closer to a Mountain Dew style soda. Not identical, although no.
Alpine Pop's local runs could not compete on price or reach. The brand faded, leaving behind a few bottles and sweet memories of summer holidays and shop counters. Alpine Pop is remembered fondly by locals who grew up on its strong, syrupy sips. Alright, let's talk about Kickapoo Joy Juice, one of the strangest sodas to ever hit the shelves in the 1960s. The drink was inspired by a popular comic strip called Lil Abner, where the characters brewed a wild homemade moonshine called Joy Juice. When Monarch Beverage Company decided to turn that fictional drink into a real soda in 1965,
today I am trying a little something called Kickapoo Joy Juice.
it sounded like a fun idea at first. The packaging was quirky, the name was memorable, and the marketing leaned into the goofy, hillbilly humor. But here's the problem. Quirky branding can only get you so far. The actual taste was overly sweet and citrusy, almost like a knockoff Mountain Dew, but without the kick. People tried it once for the novelty, but didn't come back for more. On top of that, the soda market in the 60s was brutally competitive, with Coke, Pepsi, and 7-Up dominating. Kickapoo Joy Juice simply couldn't carve out a loyal fan base. In the US, it fizzled out quickly, becoming more of a pop culture footnote than a real success story. Ironically, it later found pockets of popularity in Asia, but as far as America goes, it was one of those fun for a moment, forgettable forever drinks. Now, let's talk about a diet lemon-lime soda that fell victim to a banned sweetener. Like was 7-Up's first diet lemon-lime soda, introduced in the 1960s when diet drinks were rising in popularity. Its makers used a sweetener called cyclamate to cut calories, and the drink showed promise in tests and local markets.
Yeah, Olive Storm. Introducing Storm, a whole new kind of lemon-lime.
But in the late 1960s, health concerns led regulators to ban cyclamate in the United States, and that decision shook the product's future. 7-Up removed the sweetener, changed the formula, and relaunched the line under a new name, Diet 7-Up. Like didn't die because of poor taste or weak ads, it failed because the law changed under it and the brand was retired. Collectors and soda historians still mention Like as a cautionary example of shifting rules. Budwine was a small-town soda with a big taste memory for the people who grew up with it. Bottled by regional makers, it showed up on store shelves, at picnics, and behind counters where locals grabbed a sweet, fizzy pick-me-up. Budwine carried the kind of flavor that sticks in a memory.
What I'm going to call the last unopened can of Budwine soda.
Bright, sugary, and perfect with a sandwich or a day at the park. As big soft drink companies spread and supermarkets pushed national labels, Budwine's runs grew smaller. Production finally stopped in the mid-1990s, and its bottles faded from store coolers. Today, Budwine survives mostly in faded labels, attic crates, and stories told by longtime residents who still recall the snap of that first sip on a hot afternoon.